Factoring is a great way to get cash flow into your business. Although it appears to be far more expensive than traditional borrowing, and it is, it seems to be a safer way because you're borrowing against your debtor's ledger rather than borrowing against a personal asset. Eventually your debtors will pay and the debt may be extinguished. Factoring is a little bit like renting money rather than borrowing money. If you borrow money from an asset, you'll pay a lesser rate of interest. If you factor a debt, you'll pay a higher rate of interest. But I always look at it like if I'm traveling from this city to another city. When I go to another city that I don't live in, I'm looking to rent a car, 3 or 4 days. I don't want to buy a car, I don't want to lease a car, and I'll rent a car. It's far more convenient, and at the end of 3 or 4 days, I give the car back and it's served its purpose. Factoring is when you take the value of your debtors and you get it cashed up. In other words, let's say your debtors is $100,000. You may have an agreement with a factoring company to get 80% of the value of your debtors, obviously subject to their terms, and you have that money as working capital the moment you've made the sales. This is where factoring is great, that you have cash immediately to keep your business going. And this is ideal, particularly if your business is growing quickly or if you're in a seasonal cycle. There's a couple of things though you must be very careful about factoring. Number one, factoring to pay immediate pressures or debts on your business can mean that you're crucifying your cash flow in the future. If, for example, you factored all your debts to pay only a tax bill or only to pay a creditor, you've got a problem being pushed further into time rather than dealing with it now. The other issue with factoring is that there are a lot of hidden charges with a lot of factoring companies, and you have to make sure that you understand exactly what you're going to pay for. Some factoring deals might look like they've got a higher interest rate, but that's perhaps all you're paying. So while we support factoring, while we think it's a great form of finance, it's also one that you need to be extremely careful with. Use it correctly and it'll help your business grow and it'll help you make a lot of money. Use it incorrectly and it could lead to business suicide.